Okay, so in this video, we'll be going over Chapter 9, everything you need to know for Chapter 9 of chemistry. So this is over intermolecular forces, or IMF. So from strongest to weakest. So the ion dipole is the strongest, which that means it's pretty much an ion plus a polar dipole. So this could be like Na plus or any other ion. Then there's the hydrogen bond, which is the second strongest. This is hydrogen with either N, O, or F, nitrogen, oxygen, or fluorine. And yeah, it needs to have these three in order to be a hydrogen bond. Then the third is dipole-dipole. So this is when two molecules are both polar, they become dipole-dipole. Then there's the ion-induced dipole. So this is an ion with a non-polar dipole. And it's because it's induced because it's non-polar. It's making it try and be polar. Then the dipole-induced dipole, same thing as the ion-induced, but it's just a dipole, which is a polar plus non-polar. And then the last one is London dispersion. This is pretty much when two things are non-polar. And every force has a London dispersion force. Make sure you know that. So if you don't see anything if you don't see any of these others, it has that as London dispersion. So then we have like the phase change graph. And so here you start at the solid, which is the negative degrees Celsius. So it could be anything that's less than 0. And this is a solid. And as you increase the energy input and the temperature, you use the Q equals MCAT, which is in joules, and you use that equation. Then once you reach the 0, which then it can become like a liquid, it changes phase. You use the delta, or use the moles times delta H for fusion, and that's pretty much given to you. And then it increases, and you use Q equals MCAT again. Flat lines, and you use the N times delta H for vaporization, which is given, and that is in kilojoules. And you can keep repeating that process until you get into the 100 degrees, which is when it vaporizes, pretty much when it becomes a gas. And all your answer should either be all negative or all positive. There shouldn't be any minusing or subtracting or adding. It should all just be all negative or all positive. So if they're not, you know you're doing something wrong. And here are the pretty much 4 things you need to know for IMF. The higher the IMF, the higher the viscosity. The higher the IMF, the higher the boiling point. The higher the IMF, the higher the surface tension. And the lower IMF, the higher the vapor pressure is. Or you could do the higher IMF, the lower the vapor pressure, whichever way you want. And then lastly is the phase change diagram that you need to know. So the x-axis is temperature, and this is pressure. And pretty much you need to know that it goes, you need to know how to like draw it. So you do this graph, and you have these, and you go from left to right. So you usually learn it as solid, liquid, gas. So you start from the left to go to the right, solid, liquid, gas. And if a substance is here, then it's a solid. If it's here, it's a gas, and etc. And you need to know 2 important points: the triple point, which is where they all intersect, the solid, liquid, and gas, and the critical point. So when something exceeds that, it becomes a supercritical fluid. And you just pretty much need to know how to like read this diagram, I guess. And that's everything you know for Chapter 9.